Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ukatsu Nation podcast. This is your host, Tom, and seemingly as always, with me is Sammons.
Hello.
Increasingly with me is Mr. Shinobi himself,
Hello.
Austin, and new to the gang, El Jefe, Jeffery.
What's up?
So, here we are around this piece of wood yet again, because we record around a piece of wood, if that's a little inside baseball for you guys. What have you guys been up to? What have you been playing?
I've been enjoying BioShock Infinite because it was on sale recently, and I realized I had never actually beaten the game. I played it for like 10 minutes, and I was like, this is fun, but I would rather play the other BioShock games.
Nice.
So I'm like,
What's your favorite vigor?
My favorite vigor so far is the bunking Bronco, because you can hit an entire crowd of people with it, and they all go flying in the air, and it's like skeet shooting with a shotgun, except one shot takes all of them out. So,
Nice.
It's very nice.
Very nice. Austin?
Well, as a shinobi once was called, I had to play Sekiro. So I've been playing on my roommate's game, and it's so much fun. I love how it's actually... So I've been waiting for a Tenchu Z-like game since then, which is, I don't know when, 2006 at latest. It's been a long time.
Tenchu was a good
It
series.
was so good. But now, this one's not quite the same, but it's very similar, and it has its own take on having boss battles and stuff like that. I'm personally not a big fan of the boss battles because they're just like unlimited more health than you, and you just have to keep hitting them over and over again. And if they hit you once, you're probably dead. But I love the regular stealth part of the missions and the grappling hook.
What kind of loadout do you like on your prosthetic?
Ooh, I'm not far enough in the game to know. So I have like a couple. I have the shuriken, and I think the set them on fire one if I douse them first and then shoot some flames or something. But I know there's a lot more, but I'm only like maybe an hour and a half into it.
Very cool. Jeffrey?
Gotta be real honest. I've pretty much only been playing League. All the rest of
that game.
all the rest of my time has been devoted to watching TV shows on Hulu and Netflix and Amazon Prime, etc.
Any expert recommendations?
Right now, I've been watching The Resident on Hulu, which is really nice. It's pretty much just another doctor show.
Okay.
But I really like the characters. And then another show on Hulu that is from TV is The Rookie. It's with I don't remember his name, but
Tim Allen? I don't know.
if
guy
you've ever
from
watched
Firefly.
Castle.
Or Castle, yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, Nathan Fillion.
Yeah,
Yep.
Nathan Fillion.
How is that show? I'm interested because
It's-
I love Nathan Fillion.
It's actually really good. So he plays a rookie in the LAPD.
And he's like a 40-year-old
Yeah, he's
rookie cop.
45 years old, and he's being compared to everybody else, and he's literally the oldest rookie ever.
Nice.
And a whole strew of things happen. It's actually really good and really entertaining.
Cool.
Nathan Fillion is like always entertaining.
He is,
I've never really like seen a clip of him not being entertaining.
Well, he co-directs this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's real cool.
I used to listen to a podcast called The Thrilling Adventure Hour, which was like a radio play, and he guest starred on it as Cactoid Jim, he was a space cowboy. Wonder where they got that inspiration from. Maybe he was great on it. But anyway, I digress. I started this morning the Borderlands Game of the Year Edition Remastered.
Nice.
Super excited. We'll get more on that later, though, because I dictate what we talk about in this podcast. So, big topics. But, new at Ukatsu, this weekend we got the Midwest Campus Clash coming up. There will be a large Fortnite tournament, I believe.
Very large.
Free to
100
enter, yes.
plus contestants. It is free to enter because Columbia College was kind enough to pay for all of these spots. So people simply had to sign up. And it actually signed up relatively quickly, within one day.
Less than a day, 120 entrants were capped.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And what about entry into the event itself? Is that something people can just go to?
Yes, it is something you can just show up and enjoy.
And I think also worth mentioning, it's Missouri's biggest esports event of the year.
Yes, they do invite colleges from just about all around. So
Yep. This is at Columbia College, if we didn't say, by the way.
Very
Yes.
cool.
It is, yep.
This upcoming Saturday, if you're listening to it the day it was recorded, which you might not be. March 6th, I think.
Yep.
No,
March
April
6th.
6th.
April.
6th.
Yeah.
The 6th of a month.
The month that we're in.
Yes.
Yep.
My son keeps saying April showers bring Mayflowers.
Oh.
He doesn't get the joke when I say, what do Mayflowers bring? It's pilgrims.
So is Columbia College's League of Legends team going to play? Like an actual
Yes,
game?
they should be. They will be playing that day.
Awesome.
They
I
are
know.
playing?
Yeah. Well,
They-
I hope they are, but I heard, and I
Oh,
might be
yeah.
wrong, that they're still right now currently ranked #1 in college League of Legends teams.
Oh, they're
Very
ranked
nice.
1?
They're ranked 1 right
Yep.
now.
There's always
Okay.
the joke that gamers in the Midwest are the best because there's nothing else to do.
I mean, I've had many a conversation with people that spent their childhoods driving gravel back roads as their only form of entertainment.
Yep.
So,
That's rough.
Yep. Now it is
Yeah.
playing a video game. It's awesome.
but yeah, League of Legends, good team here at Columbia College. And speaking of, the esports season at Ukatsu is wrapping up. The high school esports season will be finishing up its normal season this week and on to playoffs.
That's right. This is the last week. My team. I'm also Coach Sammons, so my battle team is going to be playing twice today because one game is the actual game, and then one is a makeup game because of the snow earlier this year. That snow was quite the problem. We canceled several dates, but it's going to be a very exciting night.
Yeah, awesome times. Those playoffs should be pretty good. I think Ben's pretty proud of the tournament style he's got set up.
Yes, I've heard him talk all about it the last few days, but yeah, I think, though I'm not even sure exactly, I think so next week is when we start the first week of the postseason, and then I think we have a week after that to solidify the 2 finalists, and I think
I
it's the
believe
week
that's right.
after that, so 3 weeks from now, which would be the final match. Which I'm not. Is that hosted at one of the schools?
That should be hosted at one of the schools.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very cool.
I'm jealous.
I am
stage.
too.
You already went through it, Jeffrey.
No, I know, but I played last year, and well, it was don't get me wrong, completely amazing. I just wish that it was a best of 5. But apparently all the games in the playoffs are best of 5s this year.
Get owned, I think is the response to that.
Get owned. Oh man! Not only twice will you get owned, but now you'll get owned a third time.
Yep.
Third owning. Oh man. And more league news. The LCS finals are coming up in St. Louis, and I believe Ukatsu's taking a field trip.
Yeah.
Yes, we will be. We will not be at Ukatsu that day. We will be on the way to St. Louis for that because it is going to be a rather large event. It is the finals for the LCS.
Super exciting. Yeah.
Yes, tickets are now very hard to get a hold of, or rather pricey. So
So there you go. Exciting times await for any fan of League of Legends.
Yes.
Also, a new patch dropped today, didn't it?
New patch
yes,
dropped.
a new
yeah.
patch dropped today. A lot of changes, but the meta hasn't quite shifted off of Protect the ADC. So
Although, I mean, they didn't really even touch like Hecarim and J4. And so they're
Right.
still dominating the jungle.
yes, they are. That's why they are the ones that are starting to kind of break the Protect the ADC because it's very hard to protect.
A Hecarim. Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
it's very hard to stop a Hecarim. So
And then if your AD doesn't have flash or a dash, just J4 ulti.
yeah,
Not fun.
yeah.
Those were words.
Those are right.
Same.
Yeah, try not to get into too much technical
League
League of Legends
lingo.
because we can go for a while on that.
We go for a long time.
Oh my gosh. Well, moving right along to our best worst thing. That concludes the news at Ukatsu. Oh man, segues. How do you guys feel about belated sequels to movies that you once loved? Now, I feel like everybody wants a sequel to the movie they love. They want to go back into that universe.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you wait like 10 years between movies, it's not worth, guys.
No.
That cash grab is just not worth it anymore.
Sometimes.
No, it's not worth it.
can
It's
be.
not worth it because you always remember things differently, and very rarely will you actually be like, "Oh, I love this movie." Sit down
Yeah.
and watch it, and be like, "Okay, I'm ready for the sequel."
Yeah.
Or usually it's just like, oh, I have fond memories of that movie. The sequel better be great.
Yeah.
And,
And then,
like, Pixar always does a good job of it, but that's because Pixar makes you feel a range of emotions. I feel
Sure.
like this is a particularly big problem in comedies.
yes.
Ooh, yeah.
Comedies do not do it well.
Yeah.
No.
And we're just talking remakes, right? Not remakes. We're talking sequels.
Yeah.
Sequels
Well-
specifically done at a very much later.
But not
date.
remakes of a
Yeah.
film. Okay.
So, like, what
Right.
I'm talking about is, while Wayne's World 2 might not have been the best movie, it followed up on Wayne's World within, like, 2 years.
Right.
And it was timely and enjoyable at the time, not as good as the first one. Zoolander, on the other hand, cult classic, everybody loves it, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And Zoolander 2 was at least a decade later.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I believe it tripped right on its platform Magnum Blue whatever walk.
It was not great. No.
Yep. These decade after comedy like sequels, they you almost can't call them a sequel because they're so long after the first movie came out.
Yeah.
I feel like one of the problems with it is, like, when I watch one of those movies, and we're talking like Dumb and Dumber had Dumb and Dumber 2, it was terrible.
So bad.
They had like Joe Dirt 2. Like, when I watch Joe Dirt, I think I'm laughing because I used to laugh and not because it's actually still my style of humor.
Yep.
I don't know.
That's rough. That's
I feel
hard
like- I feel like
psychologically.
A long sequel, like a sequel that takes place long after the first one came out, it cannot try to actually be a sequel. It has to be its own new sense of
Right.
comedy.
Unless, yeah.
Speaking of sequels that come out a long way after, have you seen that Arnold Schwarzenegger's coming back for Terminator 6?
Oh, really?
What?
I just saw that, like, just a headline.
I don't know if you could call
Amazing.
those like sequels. That's just him having fun. Like, that's just-
That guy's life.
I remember last year some movie. I'm not remembering the title though, so hopefully you guys can help me. Last year, a remade movie came out for like 3 decades or more. It was
Ghostbusters?
not Ghostbusters. No.
no.
Was that a sequel?
that was a remake.
It was just a
yeah, that was
remake
just
of
a yeah. So this one was a sequel, and it's like where it's this cop that goes out and destroys other AIs, and then he finds out
Oh,
that
Blade
he is
Runner.
yeah, he is AI.
Oh,
yeah.
Blade
Blade
Runner
Runner.
2049, right?
Yeah.
I didn't see it. Was it? Did anyone see that? Was it good?
I didn't see
I
it.
didn't see the
did not see
sequel,
it.
but I
Yeah,
heard
okay.
it was pretty
None
good.
of us have seen it.
Yeah, there it is.
Well, Blade Runner was one of those movies that you got to be in the right mood for Blade Runner. And if you
Yeah.
watch Blade Runner when you're not in the right mood, it is not a good movie. When you're in the right mood, it is fantastic. And it depends on the cut of the movie, because, like, the director's cut is, like, better than the theatrical cut, because in the theatrical version they obscured, like, the intention of the text. Like, I don't know. It was based on a book by Philip K. Dick, and he is basically your 1950s on acid all the time kind of sci-fi writer.
Okay.
Yikes, okay.
Yeah, I need to see the remake or the sequel, I should say.
Was it Ryan Gosling was the
I don't remember.
guy? I think it was Ryan Gosling
think
was
so.
was chasing down Deckard from the first movie, who was Harrison Ford, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw the first one for the first time last year or 2 years ago in anticipation for the new one. And I don't know if it's because I've born too late and I'm used to fast-paced movies, but
It is.
I could not make it through it. Literally, and I'm not like that with most movies. I had to stop the movie and leave because it was just so many scenes of just literally the air is moving or we're seeing smoke aesthetic. The whole movie definitely had an aesthetic-y, trying to be new, and I think it,
rains for like 90%
Yeah,
of the
and
movie.
it's
In
just
2
like-
minutes of watching a guy walk across the street
yeah,
in the
and
rain.
I couldn't do it. I was like, all right, I'm just literally wasting my night away.
Oh,
It's also a long movie.
Indiana
Yeah.
Jones
Kingdom
actually
of the
does
Crystal
that.
Skull.
Yeah, because they had the original trilogy, and then they had the fourth one that came out
Early
10
2000s?
years? Yeah, it was like,
It was probably almost 20 years.
was it? Yeah, and then now they're
was
making
good,
the
but
fifth
after-
one.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wait, there's a new one?
Yeah,
with Harrison
Oh,
Ford?
okay.
With Harrison
Amazing.
Ford, but
Yep.
without Shia LaBeouf.
Hey,
Yeah,
okay,
I
so
think
there's a
it's
chance
important.
for it.
So let me tell you just a quick hot take on the Indiana Jones. Everybody hated Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I didn't
Indiana
hate it.
Jones 4. You're the only person on the world that will admit that. But it follows the formula exactly. Because the first movie, Indiana Jones versus Nazis, Christian relic. Second movie, weird off the wall, like Temple of Doom stealing hearts and Kali and blah, and
Yeah.
weird sidekick. Third movie,
Short
Indiana
round.
Jones versus Nazis. Fourth movie, weird off-the-wall, weird sidekick, alien cult in South America. Like, I'm just saying, it fits the pattern. So if the fifth one is
Is
Indiana
Nazis?
Jones versus Nazis, we're in for a good time.
I mean,
This could be
how could it be
interesting.
Nazis though? Because they'll be set.
Well, Temple of Doom was a prequel to the Ark of the Covenant.
Right, but
Do we know
Kingdom
the
of the
time
Crystal
period?
Skull.
Oh.
Yeah,
So
we
Kingdom of
really-
the Crystal Skull is a sequel though.
Maybe he fell back in time because of aliens and has to go fight Nazis.
There it
Yeah,
is.
you don't know that.
Maybe Red
All
Skull
right.
shows up because
Red
Disney owns everything.
Red
Disney.
Yeah, remember when Red Skull fell into the universe? Yeah, he's just gonna pop up in Indiana Jones.
All right, all
He
right.
did that in
That's
Avengers.
what he did in Avengers. So
I'm down.
He's like, well, the Soul Stones are taken care of. I guess I can go into Indiana Jones now.
That's what's gonna happen.
Start the Nazi movement over again.
I don't know why he was protector of the Soul Stone. That was weird.
They just wanted to call back to
Yeah.
Captain America.
Oh, all right, all right.
I'm confident. Plus, Hugo Weaving needed a payday, I'm sure. Took him like 4 hours to get into the makeup, 10 minutes to say his lines, and then 4 more hours to get out of the makeup.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hey, if it's worth several $1,000s though.
Yeah, you can probably command a lot of dollar bills for an appearance. So, gaming news. Shall we move on? Anybody got more to say about these terrible but much awaited sequels?
I mean, but the only good one is Incredibles 2.
Incredibles 2 is so good. Like I said, Pixar does a good job. Full range
Yeah.
of feelings.
Pixar does do a good job.
Yeah.
They, there's also a timelessness to a cartoon.
Yeah.
Nothing changes.
You're not
They're in
sitting
the
there
same-
like, man, why did Mr. Incredible age 35 years?
Right.
Yeah.
Between this one and the last one.
The only way that those go wrong is when they change the animation style or they change like the writer, and then it's just like it's
They did change
awful.
the animation a little bit though.
A little bit. It wasn't very noticeable. But if it's like watching Atlantis and then watching Atlantis 2.
Oh, all right.
All right, that's what I mean by changing the art style. Like that one is like, oh.
Atlantis was a surprisingly enjoyable movie. I don't think I've ever seen the sequel.
Don't watch it.
Don't watch it. Well, next on the bandwagon, we have the Sega Genesis Mini has been announced. 40 games on it. Anybody here a Sega Genesis fan? Oh wait, I'm old.
No.
Born in 1999.
So is this going to be like the SNES?
I'm pretty sure that's the year that the Dreamcast came out.
It
No,
is.
98?
No, it was 99.
99? Oh my god. The successor. to
So
Sega
no, I don't know anything about Sega Genesis. I played some games that were on
So
the
how's
Sega
it going to work?
Genesis.
Can you just like plug it into a TV, a monitor, or whatever?
CD. Yeah, it's just like the
The-
NES Mini and
Yeah.
the SNES Mini.
Nice.
Sega's just cashing in on their previous success. They got they've announced some of the Sonic games and Castlevania Bloodlines and a couple other games.
new games or
No, they're
the
all
old game? Okay.
they're all classics from the Sega Genesis library.
Awesome.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Of more relevance to you youngins might be that Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, sixth in line for the British throne.
Married to Meghan Markle, and Meghan Markle's twins.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, he went on record to a reporter and talked about how Fortnite was addictive and irresponsible and should be banned. He hates Fortnite, apparently.
I completely disagree.
Well,
Well, go for it. Do it.
So it's
Tell Prince Harry why he's wrong. He's listening.
he's listening. Is he really, Tom?
One can dream.
I can dream. So I don't understand. You said he said that it's bad for you.
Yeah,
or-
he says it's
addictive,
It's
and
addictive,
irresponsible.
and it's irresponsible, and there's no reason to have it in your home because it doesn't add value to the family dynamic.
But it's okay. I could see where the family dynamic doesn't count, but there's so many kids that just it's an outlet. Not all the time can be.
wait, doesn't add to the family dynamic?
Oh, I guess
Yeah,
it would because it changes it because he's gone or he or she's gone playing Fortnite.
Okay, so I think he means helping the family dynamic. Obviously, it has an
helping the
effect
family
on the family
dynamic.
dynamic,
Okay.
for getting specific.
Helping
But
it.
Yeah, I mean, this clearly would apply to any popular video game. So
Yeah.
he's,
Right.
I guess Fortnite was finally the first big one that he heard about that was enough to send him over.
That makes sense, actually.
He said it right
Makes
before
sense.
the BAFTA awards too.
Yeah, I guess just the fact that Fortnite was such a phenomenon that it spread everywhere so quickly and everybody was playing it. So that's the one that was brought to his attention probably the best.
Would you guys like to hear the quotes from the article?
Yes.
There's more? Let's go.
He said, "The game shouldn't be allowed. Where is the benefit of having it in your household? It's created to addict. An addiction to keep you in front of a computer for as long as possible. It's so irresponsible. It's like waiting for the damage to be done and kids turning up on your doorsteps and families being broken down." He added that social media was more addictive than alcohol and drugs. Those are quotes from...
I like the science. I like the facts involved. But
So he doesn't like the 21st century, I think, is what we're
Yeah.
getting
I mean, he is of a royal bloodline.
at. Yeah.
And lives in
True.
a palace. He's a duke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about right, yeah.
that'd be a fun movie, a Duke that plays video games.
I'm pretty sure that was called season 5 of Parks and Rec. Andy got all involved with the guy with some British royalty that was like just played with drones on his palace lands. It was pretty good. But anyway, how do you guys feel about that? Fortnite's extremely popular.
I mean, he's entitled to his own opinion. As long as he doesn't actually take serious action to, like, stop Fortnite, he's entitled to his own opinion.
Do you think losing the British players of Fortnite would be a huge blow to the game if he actually managed to get some legislation passed?
I'm not sure. I don't...
I don't know how big it is over there, but the theory of this I feel like is already impossible. I don't know how much power he actually has, but I assume it's not nearly enough to actually one person's opinion ban this.
Right.
I can't imagine the amount of power required
Yeah.
to just blacklist a video game.
I disagree.
And for it to actually
You think he
like
can?
succeed.
I mean, you've seen like North Korea, right?
Well, yeah, but that's North Korea.
That's an extreme case.
Or
Like
China.
that's like beyond extreme case. Like,
Yeah.
For a game that's already out and already in people's hands,
I'm
how
just-
would you go about blacklisting that game and making it no longer accessible?
You just
Raid the homes.
Behead everyone that looks at it.
no, you would just damage the internet.
Just damage the internet.
Yeah, all the internet.
That's another hard. How do you do that?
What
Yeah.
about the dark web?
Yeah, there's too many ways around.
I mean, granted, it's pretty much impossible, but he could do a pretty good job.
I
He
don't
could
know.
definitely.
He could try. He could
try.
try, but
He
it
could
would not
try.
succeed.
I think he would somewhat succeed.
I don't
Not
think
all
he.
the
I don't
way.
think he would succeed at all.
You don't think at all?
I don't think it would succeed at all.
They have a lot of power.
I mean, he's got kids. Do you think his kids are being abused because they're being no Fortnite in their lives? Do you think that we should intervene in British royalty?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yes, kids.
Ooh.
I don't think so. I think
I
a
think they're
parent
babies.
definitely should have the
I don't
right
think the
to
twins
choose.
are born yet.
They're not born yet.
I don't think
Whatever. They're
A
still
parent
not
is
gonna
definitely
have Fortnite.
entitled to a good part of guiding their child's life.
Yeah. I mean, if they
So-
think it's just like if it were a mature game, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
not really because it's so cartoony, but it's still guns and shooting. So a lot of parents, I'm sure, still ban that for their kids because of that. He's clearly banning it for other reasons, but
Yeah, no.
again, just banning it for parent reasons, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Interesting news recently. So, movie trailers. There's been some dope movie trailers coming out.
Yeah.
Avengers Endgame, Joker.
I need to see the
4.
Joker one.
I
Toy
like
Story.
that the movie trailers are going back to they're kind of going back to the way they used to be, where they reveal a lot less
Yeah.
about the plot.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
no longer like, oh, I just watched 3 minutes and now I know the entire movie. Now, like, they're actually showing deleted scenes or scenes that don't actually appear in the movie, and they're also like all
Yeah.
the scenes you see are maybe like 3, 4, or 5 seconds long, and they don't actually show
think-
what's happening.
Disney specifically is getting really good at that.
Yeah, we've talked about it on the podcast before about
Yeah.
movie trailers that are just like, beat for beat the plot of the movie.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's just
I think I was going to see the first Avengers last year, and there was some trailer for it before it that everyone saw. I saw a big thing on Twitter about it. Is I don't know the name of it. It was a movie about a dog that gets lost, goes out into the world, and then comes back to the family. And this is a long trailer, and we saw the entire process. We literally saw the whole movie.
I remember watching this trailer too. It was literally dog, has a great family, gets lost, encounters wild animal, becomes friends with wild animal, finds its way home, ends up happy with family.
So
that was the trailer.
Oh, I think you forgot the part where it got adopted by another family.
Oh,
and
yeah,
left
I did.
that family to go back to
Yep.
its original
We got a
family.
lot.
That's
Yeah.
actually how I feel about. I don't know if any of you have seen A Dog's Purpose. I haven't, but apparently there's the original.
Oh, isn't that the one where it's like a dog? It's
when it
about the dog's
dies-
soul, and it's like it's
Yeah,
reincarnated
yeah.
in different dogs.
And it goes back to the same family over and over and over.
That
And so
terrifying.
I watched.
That is odd.
I never watched the first one, but the second one, the trailer for the second one keeps showing in theaters, and I
You're
basically
talking about Pet Cemetery.
no no. And basically, I've seen the entire movie just right there, and I'm just like, all right. I felt really sad emotion during this trailer. I don't really want to go see the movie now.
Yeah. There you
Yep.
go. Well, the time is nigh, gentlemen. Borderlands. There's been so much Borderlands news. Borderlands 3 got announced, which, I mean,
Yes.
there's a long-awaited sequel for you.
So long.
So is it actually Borderlands 3?
Yes,
or is it like
actually
Borderlands 3 prequel?
No, actually Borderlands 3.
Actually, Borderlands 3, they're, I believe, taking it to different planets other than the
Oh.
It looked
stereotypical
that
Pandora.
way. Yeah.
That's exciting.
New classes. They've already announced that there are going to be 4 DLC story packs, which are, like, their DLC is usually pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome, yeah.
And they're, like, big, long campaigns.
I will
Like
say
Captain Scarlet.
Borderlands did DLCs right. Like it's actually
really
new
do.
content. It's
Yeah.
an entirely new story.
Right.
Versus like the old Destiny
And it's
DLCs,
free,
which are
right?
just
I
Is
don't
it?
think it's free.
Oh, okay.
There is a season pass.
But those are so good that it's probably worth it.
those
it's
those
so-
Borderlands DLCs are worth it.
Borderlands
Borderlands
DLCs are like, 2 or 3 hours of like quests, and
Right.
side quests, and new characters being introduced.
Plus
and,
just typical running around,
Yeah.
which adds an hour on top or more on top of that.
yeah.
Ooh, I do not
And
like
you can
those
play
games.
them multiple times with multiple different guns with
Yeah.
multiple classes. It's just
Each character, there's usually to start with 4 characters, and then sometimes they DLC add characters.
right.
And then each character has 3 different skill trees that you can mix and match from. So there's many ways you can play each character. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
replayability.
For
if
sure.
The
you're-
nice
if you're
thing will
into
be
that
if
sort
they
of thing.
implement a reskill option.
There is a reskill
There
option
is a
in all of the
reskill.
games.
Really?
Yeah.
It's always been there. You just got to go to the new U station.
Yep.
Well, I never found that option.
It costs like 10% of whatever amount of money you have, and then you can respec all your skills.
Ripperoni. I never found that option.
Wow.
But along with the announcement, they announced that April 3rd, which has come and gone, they were going to release Borderlands Game of the Year Edition, the original Borderlands with updated graphics and user interface and stuff like that to kind of bring it up to where the pre-sequel was in terms of like quality, I guess.
Yeah, I
It'd
don't
be
have
really
money
cool
for that.
if they start
bought it.
actually making a
So good.
reskin, like a new game, where they change some dialogue and like they slightly change the interactions between you and other characters. So when you're replaying it, you're like,
Wait a second, I don't.
that
remember
wasn't
this
right.
happening.
That was not how I remember that.
The Halloween DLC is also really good.
The Zombie Island of Dr. Ned.
No, in the second game.
Oh, yeah, they added a bunch of like hunts and
Yeah.
stuff. There was a D&D themed.
Or was it the pre-sequel that had the Halloween?
Oh man, I have not played all the DLC for the pre-sequel. I've never beaten the pre-sequel.
The pre-sequel's it's pretty good.
I enjoy it.
All
I've
right.
played it.
Someone has to help me. What do you guys mean by pre-sequel?
So,
So Borderlands
there
is
that
a
was,
just
fun
sounds
thing.
so silly to me.
there was the original movie.
Okay.
I mean, not movie.
Video
game.
And then there was the second game. And then there was the third game, but the third game took place in between the first and second game.
No, I
So
thought,
we
it was,
call
I
it
thought
a
it was straight
It's
up
a
pre-sequel.
prequel to Borderlands 2, but a sequel to Borderlands
One.
1,
Jesus.
and it's about the bad guy of Borderlands 2 and how he came to power.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the
I
pre-sequel.
mean, it sounds cool. Just the name for this title or this whatever we're calling it. It sounds
Yeah.
silly.
literally a pre-sequel.
It is silly, but that's Borderlands. Borderlands is
It's
silly.
pure enjoyment.
You could
Yeah.
call it the old 1.5.
The old 1.5. The old
Lion King?
The old
Yeah.
Rogue One, if you will.
Yep. 1.5.
So, Borderlands, September 13th. There is
excited.
rumors, according to the Xbox Store, of cross-play compatibility,
Yeah.
things like
I
that.
was hearing that as well.
We are alive to see crossplay happen.
And I think
so
they also
excited.
revealed the DLC characters in
Fucking
the
we've
trailer.
been
did
doing
they?
it a while.
I think so.
Very cool.
I'm just so excited
I
that
saw
crossplay is
a
spreading.
couple that I'm like,
Fortnite was like the big
I
one that
wasn't
like hit
that
everything, and I was
interested
like,
in
oh,
the
it's really actually possible.
first 4. Then I saw the DLC and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. So,
You
from
had
one
2
trilogy to all trilogies, what kind of trilogies do you guys like? I mean, do you think the trilogy is the optimal form of
I
entertainment?
think it is. I think it is because I don't know. In trilogies, you have a really good beginning, you have a very fun middle, and then at the end, it's a very like well-rounded. It's
Fulfilling.
usually a very fulfilling and rounded-out end.
Yeah.
And if like usually trilogies are done right, like I want to say
Yeah, for sure.
Bioshock. I don't know. Bioshock is one of my favorite trilogies just because like the universe is so fun.
Such a good universe.
Yeah.
And even though Infinite seems to have nothing to do with the other ones, the DLC brought it back around, and there's
Exactly.
hints during Infinite of them figuring out vigors through through observing plasmid research
Oh.
in like dimensional rifts and stuff. The game gets very trippy.
Anyway, Bioshock is my favorite trilogy.
Bioshock's a solid trilogy. I mean, we got Lord of the Rings is a solid trilogy.
Yeah.
We got that singular Star Wars trilogy. That's the only one that exists.
Triple trilogy?
The
You got the-
Trilception.
There
was
you
that,
go.
was
Thank
that
you.
the existence?
Thank you.
Trying to incept that into your brain.
Yeah.
A recent trilogy that just ended that just popped in my head. How to Train Your Dragon. I don't know.
Okay, How to Train Your Dragon is so good.
So good.
It's so good.
I saw the third one and I'm just like heart melting.
Yeah, each one of those
So-
movies gets you all the feels
All the
throughout the entire
feels.
movie.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch.
It
It's
is.
just-
I'll have to try those out. I've never seen a single one of them.
No.
they are very
I have,
good.
I have young
They're so
boys.
good.
They might like to see some dragons
you
and
know, like,
Vikings.
you know how you enjoyed The Incredibles?
Yeah.
You will enjoy How to Train Your Dragon
Yeah.
just as much.
I agree.
Okay. Well, I'll check it out.
And me being me, I watched all the How to Train Your Dragon TV shows.
Those are fun.
Were
too.
those good?
Yeah.
They're actually pretty good.
Yeah, they're actually
not
pretty
terrible, but not as good as the movies. But they're not terrible.
They only occur though. The series TV show ended right as the second movie.
Yeah.
So they came out after the second movie.
It kind of explains
But-
like how he got this high-tech armor and
Right.
sword and stuff.
They explain everything that happened. That you're like, wait a minute, there was a jump.
Yep. There's a big jump between 1 and 2. It's kind of like the Star Wars TV shows that explains like the war, really.
Like
The
the
Clone Wars.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the Aladdin cartoon show when I was a kid.
What?
Yeah, there was a Disney Channel Aladdin cartoon show that was Aladdin, Jasmine, Iago, Abu, and the
Since-
genie.
What?
Yeah, it was like a couple seasons long. There had to have been like 60 or 80 episodes of this show, and it's
How have I never heard of this?
because
You're young.
it's Disney and they put it in a vault and never release it for anything except for maybe their upcoming streaming service. But
Ooh.
as we know, Aladdin is a trilogy. Aladdin,
Right.
Aladdin 2, The Return of Jafar, and Aladdin 3, The Prince of Thieves.
Yes.
Something like that. Prince of Thieves straight to actually, I think Jafar was also straight to VHS because that was the day of big plastic things filled with reels of stuff called
Yeah.
tape.
Yeah.
And they would print images on this tape and spin them really quickly past a camera, and that made a movie.
Whoa.
It wasn't on a disc.
I remember
But-
destroying maybe one VHS, and I felt so bad because I was trying to rewind it manually, and then the tape came out, and I was like,
Yikes.
"How do I fix it?" And then I tried to fix it, and it got worse, and I was like, "Nope."
See, I was too young to try to understand VHSs.
You would be.
I think it's okay though because it was the new version of the Grinch, so
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, Aladdin TV show had. It took place after the second movie, but before the third, because the third one ended with, spoilers, Jasmine and Aladdin being married, which the first one kind of ended with, but like it was actually their wedding ceremony. But the second one ended with Iago escaping the lamp that he was trapped in with Jafar, the parrot Iago.
yeah.
You know,
Right.
and so he escaped the lamp, and Jafar got set back into the lamp, and they flicked him back to the end of the universe.
You should have said spoiler alert before.
I said
He did.
spoilers several times
You
this
did?
episode.
Okay.
He actually did before that.
All right.
So
I
then,
missed it.
Then Iago the parrot then becomes a character in the TV show, and they wander around the desert and fight people like Abysmal's brother Abnor. That's right, Abnormal. Abnormal, guys.
Amazing.
awesome.
They fight
Also, you said abysmal.
Abysmal.
See,
yeah.
that's also pretty good.
See, Abysmal is from the second movie. He's the guy who finds Jafar's lamp. But I digress.
Forgot about that.
There's
the
also-
puns are everywhere. I love it.
There's also the Greek inventor Mechanicles.
Oh yes.
Oh my
course.
gosh.
Cannot get better than this.
Yeah. There were a lot of recurring villains of that show that were pretty good. But
I'm assuming you've talked about the Aladdin trailer.
we talked about the terrifying terror that is Blue Will Smith.
Okay. Just
So
making sure.
I actually have high hopes for this movie. My one thing that I'm going to be angry about, and I'm going to try not to be angry about, is the very young Jafar.
Yeah, he does
Oh,
seem
yeah.
very young. Like, Jafar's supposed to be a gross old man
He's
that
supposed
wants
to be a
to
gross old
marry
man. Yeah.
Jasmine
Yeah.
Like-
for the throne, right?
How young is he? I don't remember.
He's
he
like,
looks like he's like 15.
no, I
Oh,
wouldn't
really
say 15.
young.
He looks like in his 30s, but
There's a
healthy,
big difference.
No, I
healthy
mean,
30s.
Right.
Okay.
Like super healthy 30s.
Dude, I'm in my 30s. Maybe not the healthiest 30s as you're talking about. This kid looks half my age, which
Maybe-
would put him at like 16.
Maybe at like your age, except like businessman.
Okay.
So
But-
like weird goatee, like in a business suit, except just like
He looks the same
trying
age
to
as
be-
Aladdin and Jasmine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas Jafar's supposed to be like 50.
Yeah.
he's supposed to be a really creepy old man.
Yeah.
And just saying, not saying that Ben Kingsley is creepy, but he'd be the perfect Jafar.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
speaking of trilogies, and Halo's been back in the topic recently. I would still call Halo a trilogy.
Yes,
not a
Halo is a
trilogy.
trilogy.
I would call it a trilogy.
It's not
Because
a
1, 2,
Well-
and 3 are their own identity. They are Halo
Yep.
games. And then ODST comes out, which is, you can't call that a Halo game.
Fine,
It
but
is
4
in the
and
Halo
5.
universe, but it's
Yeah,
not like, I'm
different
going to go for
company
Halo.
made it. They're making their own maybe trilogy or probably more because make money. But
Different company.
yeah, the
Yeah.
people that made Halo.
So 1, 2,
Made their
3,
own
and
trilogy.
Reach were Bungie.
Yeah.
And then
And Reach.
Yep.
There's
Yeah.
4 right there.
Reach was-
Reach
Reach
wasn't
was-
part of the Master Chief.
Reach isn't part
Reach
of
was
it.
on the
Reach
edge.
Reach was a retelling of the original, like, beginning of the war. Not beginning, not Harvest, but God,
Just a
Halo
different time.
lore.
It's just a different
It was
area, different time, different people.
Yeah.
Not part of the trilogy.
It did a very good job being a part of Halo, but like trying new stuff out. Whereas Halo 4 is straight up, it's barely Halo because you can sprint around. I mean, I had fun with it, but I also
343
recognized that this
Industries.
was like not really Halo.
Okay.
Yeah.
343, to be fair, had a big mantle to pick up. But
Yes,
They
they did.
did.
They did.
That's
give in.
also part of the lore of Halo, the mantle of responsibility for sentient life in the galaxy.
Oh, yeah.
It's what the Forerunner passed on to humanity. Come on, mantle, he did it,
Wow.
guys. Everybody, read the Halo books. They're pretty good.
I tried once, and then for the good 5 pages, it was talking about a Spartan jumping up a cliff and having a tactical view of a battlefield. And that was 5 pages long.
Yeah, that's like the first 5 pages of the book. And then that Spartan takes out a rocket launcher and kills like 7,000 grunts. It's great. The Fall of Reach is a very good book.
I couldn't get through those first 5 pages.
You're the worst.
Sorry.
It is not the same as the video game, though, however. So
Yeah.
the video
one's
game
fast
Reach.
action, always.
Well, the video game Reach tells a very different story from the literally made to tie in with the first game, like released at the same time as the first game novel by Eric Nyland.
That one does sound like a fun read, actually. That one does sound good.
Yeah, that's the one you're talking about.
So have you guys talked about Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit before?
The Hobbit should never
the
have
two
been.
trilogies.
Okay, The Hobbit as a trilogy, I accept that they made a book a trilogy because that's how you should fully respect a book because you can't cut out so much and turn it into one
Yeah,
movie.
I agree with that.
All right, I don't respect how they turned it into everything is CGI.
The problem with it is the problem with the Hobbit trilogy is that it didn't need to be a trilogy. 2 movies would have been perfect.
They could have done
They
two.
had to stuff it full of a bunch of stuff that was downright crap to make it into a 3rd movie.
Well, they had to make it appeal to the audience that wasn't like Tolkien crazies.
Do you really think that, or do you think they just wanted more money?
They just wanted.
I think they wanted
just
more
wanted
money.
a reason to
Well,
bring
it could be
Orlando
that too.
Bloom back. They wanted a uncharacteristically handsome dwarf to fall in love with an elf that
Well,
shouldn't have existed.
that's supposed to be the appeal to the non-Tolkien audience because they want to see drama and romance. And
More spoilers. The desolation of Smaug ends with Smaug getting... Or wait, no. Smaug dies in, like, one shot within, like, the first 10 minutes of a movie, right?
Well, yeah, because it ends the other movie with him, like leaving.
Well, it ends the movie with him, like, burning down Lake Town and then, like, picks up with, and you're dead. It's like, oh, this menacing character
that's how it
from
happens in the book. It's literally like he gets released upon the town. He's like, I'm a hero. Here's an arrow. Goodbye.
Yeah, that's true. But
So
that's just my problem is they took the book and they gave it the due respect that it deserved to fill out the story, but then they decided to stuff a whole bunch of stuff in there that had nothing to do with anything.
yeah, the movies were a bit long.
They took a piece of
I
lore
agree.
in
Just a little long. Weren't they like 3 hours each or something?
something like that.
Yeah.
And the majority of the third one didn't need to happen.
No, yeah, 2 movies should have got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Shoulda, coulda, maybe would have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
would
then
have been happier with
The first one was actually pretty good though.
if they had done 2 movies of The Hobbit and then they had done a third one about the war in the North. That'd be cool.
That would be pretty sweet.
yeah.
Speaking of War in the North, we're coming
Game
close.
of Thrones.
Yes.
Ever
Please.
closer.
Can't talk about Game of Thrones with me. Sorry.
Why not?
I haven't
Not even
seen
a little
it.
bit.
Oh,
I'm in the middle of watching it, so it's not like
okay.
yeah.
In the middle of it, how?
I just started season 3.
Just started
That's
season
pretty
3.
good.
Okay.
That's close
Who's
to
the
the
most
middle.
recent person that's died?
Such a morbid way to.
I mean, that's how you track Game of Thrones. Is who's the most recent person that's died?
The first. Here, I'll do it this way. The first war on King's Landing
With the wildfire.
with Stannis.
Yeah.
And Wildfire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's happened.
Yeah.
That's the very beginning of season 3, isn't it?
No, that's the very
End of
that's
season 2.
End of season 2.
So he's coming up on Red Wedding.
Yeah, that's good.
Ooh.
Get the
I
red
don't know what that
wedding.
is.
This show is
that's
about
good.
to escalate even to be
You
even
have
better.
been remarkably well sheltered. You don't know what the red
Oh,
wedding
I've
is?
like specifically
Good job.
gone out of my way to not.
Hey, Jeffrey,
Dude,
good job.
Game of
Kudos to
Thrones.
you. That's amazing.
Yeah, there's the red wedding and the purple wedding, which nobody calls it that, but I get a kick out of it. And then, I don't know, there's all sorts of stuff.
Wait, you're saying no one calls it the Red Wedding in
No, nobody
No.
calls it the purple wedding.
Oh, okay.
The purple wedding's the other wedding.
Okay.
We should go back to trilogies though.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of trilogies, the first 3 books of Game of Thrones, the Song of Ice and Fire, they're very good. The 4th book, garbage.
Yeah.
The 5th book goes back to being pretty good. The
And it
6th
was at
book
the-
is never going to happen.
Yeah,
don't know,
about to say, I
could
thought the
never-
5th was the last.
I could never read through those books because while the movies had a lot of names, like the TV show had a lot of names, the book has even more names.
Oh, yeah.
And,
And if you watch the show and then read the books again, it makes a lot more sense because you can like remember each character better, and then you know the ones that weren't in the show, and you're like, okay, this is easier to remember because there's fewer of them that I don't know anything
I
about.
might try rereading them because that sounds like a much better way to do it.
I
'Cause-
just rewatched the all of them, so then that was helpful for me.
Yeah.
And
I
of
can,
course,
I
had
can
a
get through
friend.
the first season without watching it. I can go start at season 2 and go on because
There you go.
season 1 is like I understand what's happening. I've seen this before.
I think the interesting thing to me about trilogies is how reliant it is on the second movie.
I
Because-
disagree.
You don't think so?
So like, have you guys ever watched the Kung Fu Panda trilogies? The trilogy.
Yeah.
First movie.
I've seen some of them.
First movie was good. It was Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
And the second movie is like,
Okay, Jeffrey. Okay, Kung Fu Panda trilogy. That is not one of the good trilogies.
no, not a good trilogy. I agree. It's a trilogy though.
But
Yes.
I didn't
It's
say
a
it was
trilogy.
good.
No, I said, and what I said was
The
that
good trilogies.
that
Oh,
the,
the good
success
trilogies.
of a trilogy is dependent on the second movie.
Exactly.
I see.
So, like-
okay.
and that's why Kung Fu
Let-
Panda fails.
Let's go for Star
Alright,
Wars
alright,
for
alright,
just a
alright.
second. The first Star Wars movie is a fantastic standalone
Yes, it is.
one movie.
Yep.
And the thing that made it a saga, the thing that made it feel huge, was the success of Empire Strikes Back.
Sure.
Where things happened, but they happen in such a way that
You need more.
you need more. It leaves it on a
Exactly.
cliffhanger. I don't know. There was a movie I saw recently, which was part 2, and all I could think of it was, what movie was it? But all I could think of this movie was literally nothing happened. It's just filling space until the third movie, and that like made me just think that the whole trilogy was probably
Now,
doomed.
You know, I'd be kind of okay if trilogies started coming out in that weird prequel fashion, where there's like a beginning, then there's the end, and then they show you what happened in between as the third movie. So
Lion King.
kind of like, well, not like Lion King. I'm thinking more like Borderlands format. How there's 1, 2, and then the third one is actually what happened in between.
And like the thing about Borderlands is like Handsome Jack, the enemy from Borderlands 2, he is like a loathsome character. He's awful.
Oh, yeah.
And in the beginning of
Completely
Borderlands,
terrible.
the pre-sequel, he's like
Nice.
He's nice, and he's like he's trying his
He
best
does
to be a good guy.
progressively
Yeah.
get worse.
Like he does get worse, but it shows that journey from like middle management, nice guy, to evil overlord.
Right. And I
Although-
think that's why like the writers of trilogies need to make sure they write it and like here's the beginning, here's the end, and then they flesh out in between. Because if they write the in between before they know the end, I feel like it's just going to be a lot of fluff and nothing really
That's an
happens.
interesting. Yeah, that
Didn't-
probably would be good.
Didn't near the beginning of the pre-sequel, didn't Handsome Jack kill the guy that was running?
That's very descriptive.
Uh,
The guy that was running, he died.
No, not running the place.
Hyperion,
Yeah.
not terribly close at the beginning.
Was it not?
I mean, I've never beaten the game, like I said, but I mean, he does start getting like crazier and crazier. He's like the Marif.
The Marif, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, so the Marif, the Marif tries to kill him though. He pulls a gun on Jack, so Jack shoots him. And so
Yeah.
and he's like mad that he made him shoot him, and you can see that he's like starting to break down and like be
Okay.
upset. I don't know.
Go crazy.
Oh, it was Crimes of Grindelwald.
Oh,
That was the movie, because
That's the one.
I love Harry Potter. I really liked Fantastic Beasts, but if you look at that movie, the bad guys want something to happen, the good guys try to stop them and fail, and they really had no effect on the outcome of the movie,
No.
Yeah.
which removes agency from like the good guys.
And I
guess,
missed the beasts part of it.
yeah.
Right. It's like why are like beasts are involved, yes, but they're not like
Yeah.
huge.
So have we
Right.
all seen the second one?
Yes.
All right.
Have you seen it, right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I was confused thoroughly the entire film.
right. I didn't understand
None of it made any sense.
like
Yeah.
why was he the agent for everything? Like he was definitely
Well,
Dumbledore's friend, but
I think that
Right.
Dumbledore knew there was only one man he could rely on, that expelled student from long ago. Yeah, but the thing is, it's kind of like my one complaint about the first Indiana Jones movie is if Indiana Jones hadn't been there, nothing would have happened differently. And
Yeah.
just like if Newt hadn't been there with his friends, the only thing that would have happened differently is that Queenie wouldn't have gone evil. The
If
end.
Newt wasn't there?
Yeah.
Though
Like-
at the very end of it, they did stop the crazy raging dragons or whatever, the flaming
It
dragon
starts
fires.
off-
That would have destroyed the rest of what they say, the country, something crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
And they did
Paris.
stop it, so they did have that. That's a pretty big effect.
That
I
is
don't
a
know.
big
The
effect.
the appearance of Nicholas Flamel too. Also,
Is that the ancient one or
Yeah.
whatever?
he's the really old dude that appears and they like accidentally break his hand because he's so old.
I mean,
Yeah, that was ugly.
that's a fun scene, but that doesn't make a good movie.
No, it's a lot of fun scenes put together, but it doesn't really make sense as a story. Like,
That's just kind of how I felt about that whole movie. Is like,
Yeah.
it's there, it's part of the story. It wasn't necessarily bad, but it didn't do anything for the overarching
Right.
like.
you don't feel like
series.
it
It
was
didn't-
huge.
It
I
didn't
mean-
compel me.
I feel like
Empire.
Newt and his brother and his love interest. I feel like, and those are all.
Interwoven together.
I think
Yeah,
what could have been
and-
cooler, I think the way it could have been better, is because at the very end of the movie, they hint at how strong that one kid is going to be. Because I think
Right.
he blows away like a mountainside.
Yeah.
Just by like accidentally. And it's like if that had been like in the middle of the movie, and then it was like really about how strong this kid can be, and like how
Would have been a little bit more.
right.
Speaking of which, during the film, I remember I had to Google how he was still alive. I thought
Yeah.
for sure he was dead at the end of the first one. Like
Yeah.
they did not direct that well at all.
No.
They did. They inferred that he was dead. At the end of the
Like
first
heavily,
Right.
and then bam,
Yeah.
second movie doesn't speak a word. They just show him. And he's
Yeah.
like just walking around. I'm me. I'm like, what?
one. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. That was very. Yeah, and then the whole scene where they had to go over his brother and the people that had the babies were swapped, and I was just so confused.
Yeah,
the
that
whole
was
time.
interesting.
Well, let's not forget there was this whole heavily influenced scene at the beginning of the movie where the Ministry's like, Newt, you gotta be working for us. And then he's like, no. And then they bring in this other guy, and he's like, I'll work for you. And they're like, yeah, you need to do it. You need to be the guy. And then he, like, shows up for, like, one more scene, and they never explain. Like, both Newt and his brother hate that guy for never explained reasons. And then that guy, like, hands, like, Grindelwald a piece of paper later in the movie, and that's the only thing he does.
Yep.
Maybe he'll show up later.
Maybe.
I mean, there should have been a good scene of him like destroying an entire family just to, like, because of money or something. Because he was like, he had the renown of like this evil bounty hunter that would do whatever was necessary to get the bounty.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Also, isn't this the series that's going to turn out to be 5 movies?
That's the rumor. I don't think it's ever been like officially stated.
I heard 4.
If it's going to be 4 movies, that makes more sense. Because if it's a trilogy, there wasn't enough in this movie.
Well, they always said, I'm pretty sure it was 4, at least confirmed. It could be 5, but I think it was confirmed at least 4.
The number I heard when like they announced the first one is that it was going to be 5, or that they had been contracted for 5 movies, but who knows?
And the best part about that character is when he was introduced, you guys remember, it was in that quiet chamber room or whatever, where they were having a private conversation with Newt about what they want from him and how he's going to be with his brother and all these things. And then after finally confirming that he wasn't going to do it because he's Newt and that's who he is, then this character walks out, well, of course, because I'm going to do this. So he's literally just hiding in the background, waiting for his cue to come in. There's no way he just walked in. This is a private chamber.
He was there beforehand, just waiting for Newt to be like, no, because they knew he was going to say no.
Let me stand behind this awkwardly placed mirror or whatever it was.
Right.
You know, my favorite thing about the Fantastic Beasts, it deals nothing with the actual movies of the Fantastic Beasts. It's just the fact that whenever Harry Potter has the map, Newt Scamander shows up on the map, and that just makes me so happy. I'm like,
wait,
yes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
In the
Marauders
third
map.
movie, I think.
Harry Potter 3.
Yeah, Prisoner of Azkaban.
So Newt Scamander is literally referenced. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so
cool.
Harry Potter has a map, and it's a magic map that follows people.
Yeah, it's the Marauders map.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah. And Newt Scamander shows up on the map.
Like he does like a
a ghost self, or
I have no idea. No,
It's
but
never
just a
explained.
name, and the name is moving.
So I think the reason they put it in there was because it was a name, because Newt Scamander wrote the book, the textbook, that it's the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think it was just probably put on there as like a reference of like, oh yeah, we've read the books, here's an obscure name from the thing. But then they turned Newt Scamander into this like super
Huge,
awkward, like autistic almost kind
Eddie
of like
Redmayne
I
does a
can't
great job.
look you in the
Yeah,
eye.
you can't.
He's such a good job.
Such a good job.
He's a really great actor.
I think
He's
my
a really
favorite
great
part
actor.
is in the first movie when he's doing the mating dance for the Arampin.
He's totally in his element right there.
That was pretty good. But
Gives the dude armor. You're gonna need this.
he's like bending over like,
That was a really good scene.
oh man. So with a detailed discussion of not a trilogy,
Sorry.
but of a middle movie in a series. Is there anything else you guys would like to say during this podcast? Any final thoughts?
Give me crossplay for Halo Master Chief Collection,
Yes.
please. For the love of
Crossplay
God.
becomes a thing. Halo will take over the entire market.
Half
again.
of my friends have it on console, and the next half are going to get it on PC when it comes out. So, or is it already
crossplay.
out now?
No, it's
No,
not.
Okay,
it's not
yeah.
out yet.
For
But it will
PC,
be.
yeah.
It will be the next step.
It's coming out soon. That's all I know.
Meh.
Yeah.
Crossplay.
No, I don't got anything else.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me, and this has been another episode of the Ukatsu Nation podcast. My name has been Tom.
My name has been Sammons.
My name is Austin Shinobi.
And my name is Jeffrey Mullen.
I didn't know that last part.
You didn't know my last name?
Nope.
Well, there you go.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.